Hi, my lovelies. It's Curvylexie, and I'm back at you today with a new video. Today I'm a bit late. I'm very sorry. Actually, I just left work really late tonight. So, this is why I'm starting, and it's about 9 p.m. in UK. So, I hope you're all doing well. And I have decided today to choose a topic that was pretty I think that's a topic that everyone can rely on because at some point in your life it probably must have happened to you. I thought that we could discuss about dating life and how I reached where I am today and the type of people I have met in my life, etc. And that made me give my kind of opinion sometimes about men, or at least sometimes my stereotypes, at other times the way I can also praise men for a lot of things. Basically, I thought that I wanted to discuss dating because a lot of us, especially women like me that are oversized, plus size, or fat, big, anyway, the way you want to say it, we tend to come with some low self-esteem, and we do happen to sometimes choose the wrong type of man. I'm not saying that all of us are, and thank God that's not the case. And I actually really much praise women that have that tendency to trust themselves so much that they know exactly what is good for them and come with real goals. And on the top of it, like really choosing men that are matching their expectations. But if I am now this type of person, I would say, or at least if I'm getting better, it has not always been the case. Very young, I started choosing men that were not made for me in a certain way. It's no disrespect to anyone who has been like part of my life in the past, because I have learned from any of those experiences and any of the people that have been involved in my life or that have been in love with. But did I choose the right people until maybe now that I found my husband? I don't think so. I used to have a very, very low self esteem, though I was like showing very confident with my friends, with my family, in my work or in my studies when I was young. I always showed like I was a confident person, and maybe if you talk to most of the people that knew me in the past, they wouldn't tell you that I was really like lacking confidence or things like this, because I don't think that's really the way I was appearing to the people that knew me. But however, when I was alone after, and when I had to make my own choices, and I had to choose the people that would make my life, or especially like romantically wise, I was going so wrong on a lot of points, and that's sad, but it's a learning curve in a certain way. And I can remember my mom was always telling me, Alexia, you're really good for a lot of things, like at school, about things that are asked for you, and about the devotion you're showing to your friends, and all this type of things. But as I wish you would be that clever when you had to choose men. That was hurting, believe me, especially coming from my own mom. But in a way, now I'm 33, and a few years later, so probably like 15 or even 20. Wow, okay. Even 20 years later, I actually think about it and think that in a way she was right. She wanted me to make the right choice, and she wanted me to get to know people that would like lift me up and not put me down all the time. But I was always going for those guys that were just like, yeah, like putting me down, making me lose even more confidence that I was not already having for my own self. And that's sad, because I did keep going this way for a very long time. What I would say about plus size dating is that obviously we all come different, but we need to have confidence at least with the little we have, because maybe it's not a lot, maybe it's not enough to some, but it's enough for us. And if you don't come with a minimum of confidence when you meet someone in a certain way, that person knows it and feels it and kind of abuse it, and it's bad. But I think in a certain way we all do it. I think that if I would have had like a partner that was showing himself very weak, considering myself, and I know I have a very strong temper naturally, I think that I will show myself probably like a bit, not in the wrong, I'm not saying the wrong way, but most probably I would not showing myself at my best, I would say, because I would tend to have a natural to be a bit, how can I say that? I will not say giving orders, but let's say that being the dominating one in a certain way. Um, what I want to say basically is that you need to find a person that is matching your expectations. But at the same time, you need to show yourself at the best to be sure that none of you is taking this kind of dominance over the other one and make you lose confidence. When I was younger, I went through, I guess, every single type of boyfriend. And yeah, that made me quite of a person, to be honest. It was kind of difficult at times because it made me think so differently with age. But I guess that's the way you learn and that's how you grow up and you get better. So I think just on this point, that's very important. But going back to the main thing, I starting probably a bit right. I guess I would say my first boyfriend was kind of a good one. But people are nasty, you know. I come from a place where people tend to be like more size 8 than a size 16. And when all my girlfriends were like about a size 8, I was already like a 12 or a 14, and I was like 13 or 14-year old. So I didn't like grow big in the 5 minutes. I've been big since I'm 6. So it's not like suddenly I just made a difference, you know. But my kind of first boyfriend like accepted me the way I was, but he was accepting me like, let's say, in the dark, you know, when we were at home, when we were hanging out with my friends, but not that much when we were hanging out with his. It was like always coming and breaking and like on and off and all this type of things like kids do. And despite the fact that he could have probably loved me, but I knew that the opinion of the others was a real problem for him. And it has been that problem of like, people listening to the comments of others was something that as a plus size did follow me for a very long time. My second long-term relationship, I can remember like this day was the first day of the beginning of this relationship, and his dad told him something like, oh, I thought you could have done better. I was 18 and I was feeling so wrong. I think that sometimes people do not realize, especially adults. I was a young girl, 18-year-old, no experience whatsoever. Suddenly dating a guy that was like maybe 6 or 7 years older than me. So his parents were like real adults, you know. And I hear like, oh wow, you could have done better than this. And in my head, you don't even imagine how it shambled me. And that was really tough to deal with because I was like, so basically the way I am, like me with my curves, and at that time, just in case you think that I was the way I am, if right now I'm a size 20, back in the days, I would probably be a 16, between 14 and 16, and already I wasn't enough. Apparently from some guy that probably wasn't extraordinary, but anyway, to his parents' eyes, it probably was, and that did hurt me for a very long time. So that is the first type of boyfriend. First, probably like the ones that loves you but likes to keep you under shadow, just to be sure that people don't see that he's basically dating a big woman. So that's probably one of the first problem. Then I had the one that was just finding themselves a mission to make me lose weight, you know. So like basically I accept you the way you are, but if you were looking better, that would be so much better, you know, like because you're good, you have a great temper, you have all those kind of good things for yourself, but overall you're just too big, you know. Obviously they never had the decency or the honesty to say something like that, but yeah, they were just like kind in the way that, yeah, we love you, but if you were looking like a size 10 or 8 or maximum 12, because 12 is still acceptable, you know, that's the part which is still curvy but not plus size. So if you keep going this way, you're good. So we had all the type of different tricks, like if you lose 5 kilos, I buy you a gift. Good. If I lose 10 kilos, I had jewelry. Much better. I actually lost like about 15 kilos like this, you know, because it was kind of like this donkey was a carrot. And not because I needed a carrot actually, but just because I was like desperately in love. And I thought that that was the way to gain someone's love, and that's so wrong, because basically you're just telling yourself, girl, you have no self-esteem, so let's follow someone that is giving you like a small carrot just for the change, or you're losing weight and you will get more love from him. And that's so ridiculous. I just couldn't believe that I did something like this, and I did it for like more or less 3 years or plus. So I don't know. Well, anyway, we all make mistakes, but that's just showing how little self-esteem I could have had probably for myself, and where I come from now and what I decide to do for myself. And despite this, the funniest thing at the end, and it's probably what most girls do, and this is the part that I hate, is that despite everything, he still left me at the end. And I was just like very stupid, because I could have never thought that after all these efforts anyway, it would still not work. But someone who doesn't accept you in the first place for who you are, how do you want that person anyway to love you? Even if you lose 15 kilos, even if you look suddenly different, even if you like tie your hair, change your life around, do everything for them, if that person is not accepting you from day one for who you are, how can you expect that the person will love you in the end? And that's the worst thing that I could have done for myself. After that, I got a single time. Single time is great, but you also have this, like, the same type of guys that are absolutely not for you, but you keep looking at and you still like contemplating like it could be a real relationship, you know? So those guys are basically using you, taking you like for kind of one night stand here and there, or make you believe that they want to be in a relationship. Those ones are definitely my favorite one. And then at the end, they're just basically living, because in the end they're not made for a plus size girl. So it's like, oh yeah, we love big girls because you guys have more meat and we have like, we'd rather touch curves than bones and stuff like that. But the difference is that we like the curves to be stuck in bed, and we absolutely do not like the curves to be taken out in the shopping center or being shown to friends or go to family dinners. So, and you accept this type of things. If some of you are watching me now or will watch me in the future, I'm kind of sure that kind of a lot of you will say to themselves, oh yeah, I got that guy. Because we all get it at some point. There's none of us probably, or at least I hope for you, you didn't get through that. But if you did, there's probably a lot of us that went through that same situation where you just meet the guy and think that it's going to be good for you. And actually, you're just going through like the worst case scenario, because you are the type of girl that is kept in the dark. Because it's just too easy to think that we could be fully accepted for who we are, and that that same guy will be able to basically assume that you're doing good and that you're a good person deep inside, etc. So sometimes relationship can be very superficial, and especially when someone goes against what is supposed to be the basic for society, you know? Funny enough, it looks like people that when you're dating like a basic normal girl or basic normal guy, because it works both ways, society is suddenly more indulgent. They're like nicer and easier to deal with, and you're like putting more work in the relationship, because after all, you know, that person is fitting into what the society is acceptable. And that really sucks, because suddenly when you go outside what is normal, meaning for example, I don't know, dating a plus size person, going interracial against family will, going against the race and religion and all those people, like probably me nowadays, that are dating against what the stereotype is, you suddenly have to fight more for that, you know? So not everyone wants the trouble, you know? So that's sad, but true. So I went through all of that, and I chose again the wrong type of people, the wrong type of guy. And then I went for the worst part, meaning like the guy that basically had nothing to say. But because I had kind of a temper and he was kind, then I just stayed. And this part, and I'm sorry for probably anyone that I will offend today if one day they have to watch that video, but that part is probably the worst to do, because this was basically the lowest of my self-esteem, because I did accept so much from the past relationship, going lower and lower and lower just to be in love, or maybe being in love with love. Because I don't know if you really love the person at the end. I guess you just love the feeling of feeling loved. But is that something different to discuss? I will be more than happy to discuss this one. But what do you really do where you know from the beginning that your relationship is wrong, but you just keep it because it's better than being on your own? And then you start thinking so differently, you know? I was like about 25, 26. I'm alone in a country where I don't have any family. I have a few friends, obviously, but I'm not from home. When I want to go, I cannot just take a plane ticket and go home and talk about my stuff. I just have to deal with my relationship and everything that is happening around me. So this one that makes you like think so differently. So you're just basically staying in a relationship that is not for you, lowering your expectations just for the sake of being in a relationship. And despite this, you have kind of a mental abuse, because that person spent their time telling you that without them you're nothing. So I was that same Alexia, good at work, good with my friends, definitely praised for my qualities at work, etc. But in a relationship, I was feeling useless, because I was not accepting for who I was. I was reproached each time there was like a minimum, fight, bickering. We all have this type of heating conversation, sometimes with a partner. And each time that sentence always come, oh yeah, but anyway, you're big, nobody else is gonna want you. Yeah, yeah, you're right. Nobody else is gonna want me. And that's sad. That's sad because this is mental abuse, this is mental pressure on someone. This is carrying someone to think that they cannot do better also. And when you do not have any like self esteem in relationship, at least, that you can show a lot good outside, but in your own relationship, you do not show like anything maybe powerful, then you just believe it. You think that you cannot go out of this relationship because anyway, that person is the best thing that happens to you until the day you lose it. Like me, that's what happened when I was about 28, and I basically decided that all of that was not made for me. That I had to take care of myself, that I had to take care of my health, that I had to take care of the way I looked, because the problem is that relationship made me feel so bad about myself that I was starting not taking care of myself anymore. I was like wearing leggings all the time, like large t-shirts and tunics. I got so lucky that year. Basically, tunics were like so trendy, so I kind of like managed to make it for myself. But sorry, my phone is ringing. Should be weird. But hello? My god, I'm so sorry. That's the worst video ever. My husband is calling me at the same time. That's great. So I'm so sorry. That looks really wrong. But yeah, sorry. I guess he forgot that was my lifetime anyway. But going back to the main topic. So yeah, I was saying you reach that level where there's so much nothing to do for yourself. I was like not dressed properly. I was wearing tunics because back in 2012 or 2011, tunics were amazing. Everyone was wearing that like in the magazines and stuff. So yeah, people were just like wearing that kind of trend, and I used it to hide myself behind it. By the time I'm starting like noticing that I was looking really wrong in all my tunics, I basically put on 15 kilos. So, but obviously between the mental approach of myself and the physical approach of myself, which was really not going better, I just like couldn't do anything with myself anymore. So I left 2012 was the year I left, and I starting to be reborn, and I decided to suddenly like take care more of myself, finding myself, starting looking for the right person maybe, but not even that. I just needed time for myself because the dating thing was really cool, but at the same time that was hurting me so much. So I had to rebuild myself first. I had to take care of myself, start growing some confidence, start like understanding who I wanted to be with. And a year, maybe 9 months later, this is where I met my husband. And funny enough, things were like so different suddenly. They were like just so much better. I was probably not automatically ready to be in a relationship because self-esteem doesn't grow in 2 seconds. And I think that I had to rebuild that first. But at least for once in my life, I did find someone that wanted to build with me, that was like trustful and confident, and that was aware of the way I was looking, but was just trying to help me be better. Never been pressure about losing weight, like about being better for myself, yes. About looking to get a better shape and eat better and eat the right things for myself, etc. That was the way, but never to tell me like, oh, you need to be thinner. And for the ones who follow him, because my husband is a YouTuber too, so the Nubian Prince, by the way, for the ones who wants to follow him, he never had to threaten me. This guy was like crazy good looking and probably one of the best guy I have met in my life, especially physically talking. And the worst part is that I was hearing people like being almost kind of jealous, and that was really so sad. Well, talking about the husband, hey baby. Well, that was so sad because I finally managed to find this guy who was like really good looking and good with me and really kind. And people were just like telling me, oh, but are you not scared? Was scared of what? Like scared like I'm not enough, or scared that I'm not good looking enough, a guy like him, because obviously tall black guy like looking like an R&B superstar, And I was not enough. And I had to hear people like telling me stuff like, yeah, but women are looking at him, so don't you scare that someone is gonna steal him away? And I'm like, well, if someone is stealing him away, then hopefully it's not because I am just big. Hopefully someone's stealing him away because at least she's more clever than me, or that she has a better attitude, or maybe more self-confidence, because sometimes I do lack some. But just because I'm big and that he is tall and handsome, basically we couldn't match together. That was making me so angry, people. You can't even imagine how angry I was. I've never been so pissed at people because of that. Because even when you think that you're getting better, feeling more confident and being better with yourself, at the end there's always someone to remind you that basically you're not enough. And this should never happen. So I kept my husband because he became my husband a year later. I kept my supposed to be boyfriend, and I started like building something with him because he was worth it, because he was not only tall, dark and handsome, he was also very clever, and he was praising me and forcing me to do all of what I'm doing today, meaning me like starting this YouTube channel, starting that Facebook, starting this Instagram that is doing so well now. And sometimes it's difficult to have someone that's always pushing, 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 but for the first single time in my life, I have someone that is pushing me for the best. And I never thought that would be happening. So what I'm trying to say today, my people, is basically that this is the moment where you will notice that you will have the right person for you. Is that when that person will praise you for you, and not that it will praise you just because you have to look like a size 8, 10 or something, that you have to be super tall, super slim, super blonde or whatever. It's just about finding the right person at the right time. And I'm really happy I waited 30 years. I'm absolutely not regretting all the single misadventure I had in the past, all the people that shamed me, make me feel wrong. Well, it happened, whatever. This is what life is about. But you recover. You always recover. It just sometimes takes time. It takes longer time than what I think sometimes. And it made me change country, try new horizon, trying to travel, making my life around for other XY reason. But at the end, I found my one, and I think that's the most important. So don't discourage yourself, people. My lovelies, please look for the right man. Do not let anyone in your life undermine you, making you think you're not worth it, or that without them you're no one, that you have to follow what they say, because it's not worth it. You rest a lot on your own, and a boyfriend, a relationship, a husband, whoever it is, needs to be on the plus on what you are within yourself. It's not supposed to be your everything. You're supposed to be your whole person. And then it happens that someone on the top of it make you feel so much more powerful than what you are. This is what a good relationship is about. Trust yourself first, and then that someone will come on the top. So that's all for today. I actually spent 25 minutes talking about this. I guess I was definitely way more passionate than what I thought. But despite this, I would like to thank you once again for following that page, because I really appreciate the time that you spend on my YouTube channel, the fact that you help me, that you praise, that you give me your big like nice comment and everything that makes me evolve and feel better. I would like also for all the ones that take the time to follow me on Instagram, thank you so much, because we reached like 17k followers, and this is amazing, and I'm really happy of everything that is happening to me right now. So my people, for tonight, I just would like to wish you a wonderful evening. I'm gonna take the time to make my dinner because it's almost 10 p.m. here and I'm starving. But for now, and there will be more videos to come, I just would like to wish you a very lovely evening. And thank you again for your follow. Take care. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, like, share, everything you want to do. And until next time, have a good evening. Bye.